Coming up on Cronkite News, Election Day is just over 2 weeks away, and Maricopa County is already counting ballots. How the county is gearing up for a busy election season.
Plus, there's a new tool teachers are using to keep kids engaged in virtual learning, why they think virtual reality could increase test scores.
And later, cricket is a sport with a growing global audience, and now it may be getting a more permanent home here in the Valley.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Sydney Whitty.
And I'm Atri Maneshni. Thank you for joining us. Maricopa County elections began counting early ballots today. Alexia Stambridge is out at the Maricopa County Election Center with more on how this process is going.
Maricopa County elections began counting the ballots early this morning. Here at the election office, there's 16 tabulated machines to count the ballots, and which is 7 more than in the previous 2020 general election.
So we've processed about 168,000 early ballots so far in this election.
Maricopa County Election Department Communication Director Megan Gilbertson says that this is about 60% fewer early ballots than they received in the same period of time for the 2020 election, but explains that's to be expected for a midterm election. Still, they are ramping up for a busy election day.
Here we're hiring 3,000 temporary election workers to come support the ballot counting, the processing, and working at the voting locations.
Currently, there are 12 voting locations open where Maricopa County voters can cast their ballot, but on election day there will be over 223 locations. Maricopa County Elections is also working hard on transparency to improve voter confidence. Gilbertson says there are 24/7 cameras at the Elections Department and ballot boxes so voters can watch the process live.
And that's actually a requirement by state law.
Viewers at home can watch the process going on behind me by going to elections.maricopa.gov. In Phoenix, Alexia Stambridge, Cronkite News.
The Maricopa County Elections Department says it is deeply concerned about voter safety as reports of voter intimidation continue to come in. This comes after individuals dressed in tactical gear were seen near a ballot drop box in Mesa on Friday. The individuals took off when Maricopa County Sheriff deputies arrived. This incident was reported just days after the Secretary of State's office referred a voter intimidation complaint to the Department of Justice. If you need to drop off a ballot but are concerned for your safety, the Elections Department says there are 16 drop boxes located inside city and town facilities. These locations are monitored by election officials or city and town staff.
One southeastern Arizona county could count ballots by hand in next month's election, despite the state warning that doing so would be against the law. The Cochise County Board of Supervisors is holding a special meeting today to vote on the hand count plan. We expect the vote to take place soon. If approved, the hand count will be used to audit the normal machine count. Both counts would need to be completed before the county canvasses election results. Secretary of State Katie Hobbs warned Cochise County last week that this plan is illegal. She said hand counts are time-intensive and prone to human error. She added that if the county decides to move forward with the plan, her office will seek legal action.
President Joe Biden announced plans earlier this month to pardon people convicted of simple possession of marijuana. But protesters who gathered outside the White House today say he is not moving fast enough to deliver on that promise. As Cronkite News reporter Haley Smilo reports from our Washington bureau.
Those were the demands of protesters at the White House, who are calling on President Biden to release 420 people held on marijuana possession charges before Christmas. Phoenix resident Maya Tatum says it's not too much to ask.
Hey Joe, let our people go. Hey Joe.
No one should be in prison for plant medicine, especially something like cannabis, when you have white men that are making billions of dollars off an industry that has historically disenfranchised Black and brown communities.
Records expunged!
Tatum helped organize the rally by Students for Sensible Drug Policy that came more than 2 weeks after the president announced his 3-point plan. In addition to pardoning an estimated 6,500 people with federal possession charges, it calls for governors to follow suit, and it calls for administrative officials to look into the possibility of downgrading marijuana on the schedule of drug offenses.
Joe, let our people go!
It's an overwhelming sense of joy to see so many people get engaged and really be responding to this event in a positive manner and support what we have to say and share their lived experience with us about their family members and things that are in prison.
Arizona voters in 2020 voted to legalize marijuana for adult personal use. That measure also allowed for people with state-level possession charges to have their records expunged. But as with the feds, Tatum says the state is dragging its feet on what protesters call cannabis clemency.
From my understanding, no one's record has been expunged yet, and that process started last year.
When asked for a response to the protest, a White House spokeswoman today reaffirmed the president's commitment to ending prosecutions that have, quote, upended too many lives for conduct that many states no longer prohibit.
This is a war on us! The war on drugs is a war on us!
Tatum and other protesters today said they are pleased that President Biden has talked since the campaign about easing up on marijuana possession charges, but that was 2 years ago, and now they want to see action.
The overcomplication of the expungement process allows for there to be a breakdown where no one actually gets the help that they need, and we need our families and friends' records expunged. We need them out of prison, and that's the bottom line.
In Washington, Haley Smilo, Cronkite News.
Protesters plan to move their rally later today to the headquarters of the Democratic National Committee, where the president was scheduled to meet with campaign workers. Reading and math scores are currently down in classrooms across the country. The U.S. Secretary of Education, Miguel Cardona, is now calling on leaders to invest in education. According to the National Assessment of Educational Progress, also known as the nation's report card, the average math score for fourth graders was 5 points lower than it was in 2019, and 8th graders saw their math grades drop 8 points. The findings were based on tests given during the first 3 months of this year. Officials say the COVID-19 pandemic forced many students to be taught online as opposed to in the classroom, and this appears to be a factor in these decreases.
Educators are looking at how to improve virtual learning because they recognize some virtual learning is here to stay. Olivia Doles learned about a new tool that brings interactivity to virtual learning.
Keeping students' attention during virtual learning is a huge challenge, so educators are leaning more towards virtual reality experiences to help students be more interactive while they learn online. Dozens of educators get a taste of virtual reality in the classroom firsthand. They are swimming through the blue sea trying to find a missing baby whale and possibly changing the direction of virtual learning.
It actually just brings an entirely new approach to learning into our classrooms and brings the learning alive.
Studies show learning virtually does not work for certain students, but teachers understand that hands-on education is one of the best ways to learn. Dreamscape merges hands-on and virtual learning into one. ASU has used it in biology classes to enhance more traditional classroom work.
Students go into this futuristic, fictional world where this intergalactic wildlife refuge has saved species from all around the galaxy. And of course, things go wrong. So students apply their knowledge of biology to helping solve those problems.
ASU researched students who took traditional biology and students who received Dreamscape Learn courses. Students who participated in the 3D experience had a 9% higher overall grade. One student worker we talked to shares his thoughts and what students do within the sessions.
It translates very well. They come here on their own time, ready to learn.
It is not just college students who use the virtual reality. Julie Young with ASU Prep Academy says they are using it in high school classes, and the program is a good fit for their mission.
ASU Preparatory Academy exists for two purposes. One, to build new education models for success, and two, to improve student outcomes for all of the students that we serve.
And Young says when students interact more with learning, it tends to make a bigger impact, which they hope leads to overall success. Dreamscape Learn was created in collaboration with a team from Hollywood, California, and based on the results from the ASU research, they will be expanding to use virtual reality in other courses. In the newsroom, Olivia Doles, Cronkite News.
Coming up on Cronkite News, Maricopa County has the highest gas prices in Arizona. We'll take a look at why and if Phoenix can expect those prices to come down.
And new changes to the Valley Metro schedule start today. What routes have been changed or cut?
Get up in here and start having some fun. Such a thrill to be able to do this.
Recreation is the gateway drug to conservation.
How do you create that perfect straight edge? You can do anything. History is today. Chasing the American dream.
Experience something personal.
A place of imagination.
I can go anywhere I want to go.
You guys are just going to love it.
An entertainment experience unlike anything.
There's something for everyone with Passport on the PBS Video app.
On Masterpiece Mystery.
Evil can find its roots so easily in an English village.
The landscape of criminal investigation.
Murder, almost certainly.
Modern policing methods.
We endeavor to do our best.
We're working hard to solve this case.
And to make sure justice gets done.
It's a new adventure.
And the rest, as they say, is mystery.
I can hardly wait.
Art was one of the powers that made life life. I think we all believed that.
I'ma kick down every single door. I'ma show you what you never ever seen before. So control you, I'ma show you.
This is a real life story of a real live person.
This was my only connection to my culture.
Fight the power.
Our stories deserve to be heard.
You're passionate and you respect your heritage. That is a perfect recipe.
Now is the time for the Reformation. Now is the time to rebuild the nation.
That's amazing.
You're making me cry.
Some girls can go out there and just steal a spotlight.
This is the moment that we've all been waiting for.
Everyone has something to contribute to humanity. The arts are the thing that does that.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Maricopa County currently has the highest gas prices in the state of Arizona. I talked to experts who say this is due to how the county receives fuel. According to AAA, in the past few weeks, oil refineries in California weren't producing enough fuel, causing prices in the valley to rise. Maricopa County gets fuel piped in from California, while the rest of the state gets fuel trucked in from Texas. And that's why prices were lower in northern and southern Arizona.
It's typically cheaper to pipeline it in from California. The transportation costs are much cheaper to use a pipeline than trucks. The problem is, for a few weeks, oil refineries in California were struggling to meet demand, and that meant prices for gas were really high.
Gas Buddy's head of petroleum analysis, Patrick DeHaan, says the average is down about 10% from last week, but Maricopa County still has the highest price in the state, but he expects those prices will come down.
So I do expect prices will continue to moderate for the next few weeks, keeping in mind that refinery outages can happen at any time, and that's something that could cause price decreases to end, and we could actually see prices go up if there are any new refinery issues.
AAA says the need for fuel is the biggest driver for prices. Fuel costs are slowly dropping due to fewer people traveling by car in the fall and winter seasons compared to summer. If demand stays low, prices are likely to stay where they are or keep dropping.
Heads up for anyone who uses Valley Metro. The Phoenix City Council approved new changes for their transit system, and they go into effect today. You can see some of those service reductions listed on your screen. Avondale Zoom has eliminated its northeast route, and the service will reduce the numbers of times buses will travel routes in parts of Mesa and Gilbert. But Mesa is debuting a new free neighborhood bus connecting the Fiesta District, Asian District, and Mesa Riverview. And there are more frequent bus stops in parts of Tempe and Phoenix. For a full list of those changes, you can head to Valley Metro's website.
The Arizona Department of Transportation wants your feedback. It's hosting a virtual public meeting to talk about changes to the I-10 and Loop 101 interchange in the West Valley. ADOT is currently considering the addition of more HOV ramps between the two freeways, but it also wants to look at other possible improvements in the interchange areas. Constructions on new HOV lanes would start as soon as 2025 through funding from Proposition 400 that uses sales tax approved by Maricopa County voters in 2004. This week's meeting is Wednesday, starting at 6 p.m. A link to join virtually is posted on ADOT's website.
We're starting to see some fall weather here in Phoenix, but how long can we expect to enjoy these cool temps? Luke Vickery is in the Cronkite News Weather Center with our full forecast.
The fall-like temperatures seem like they will stick around. You can see this low that gave us those fall-like temperatures this past weekend. We're actually going to have another low come, bringing some more polar air into our area. That's low and high pressure system we're going to have Thursday is going to be what's going to bring that breezy condition to our area. That pressure gradient is going to be like kind of a wind tunnel that's going to bring some of those breezier conditions into our area. And the Climate Prediction Center is actually forecasting us to have below average temperatures these next 8 to 14 days, as the eastern part of the United States is going to have above average temperatures. You can see it reflected right here for our high temperatures for tomorrow. Salt Lake City at 52 degrees. If you move over to New York, 68 degrees. The Buffalo area, 74 degrees. So you're definitely going to feel that temperature change throughout the United States. But here tomorrow, 77 degrees, 81 in Yuma, 61 up towards Flagstaff. And looking at the 8-day forecast, I want to pay attention to the lows. Tomorrow morning, 51 degrees. You might want to bring a jacket on your way to work tomorrow morning. You might even get to keep it on as you leave. Breezier conditions on Thursday. And we're going to keep these temperatures throughout the remainder of the week. In the Cronkite News Weather Center, I'm Luke Vickery.
I'm Victoria Samuels. Coming up after the break, I'll have your Cronkite Sports Report. Chris Paul hit another NBA milestone over the weekend. What he accomplished coming up next.
Ain't no time for imitation, ain't no time for playing. I'm just gonna do me.
Know what I'm saying?
Try to steer the trouble.
Where's the fun in that? You know how ladies can be.
I'ma do what I do.
Did you know newsrooms today are looking for bilingual journalists? Cronkite Noticias prepares you to cover diverse communities. In Cronkite Noticias, you will obtain an unforgettable experience.
Nopales como este van a tumbar.
Cronkite Noticias.
And develop your skills with the latest technology.
That way the flavors will marry nicely.
Can you tell me what I'm looking at?
I'm not looking for love, I'm looking for cookies.
And there's still places to discover.
It just absorbs you.
You can make this at home if you can't find it.
I will continue to eat and drink until you get here. Get here fast.
Cheers.
Oh, look at that. Damn, doesn't that look good?
We are going to be eating well.
It does work. It does.
We got a happy little sky.
We're just getting started.
Welcome back to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Victoria Samuels. The Suns took down the Clippers in Tinseltown last night, 112-95, moving their record to 2-1 on the season. In the process, point guard Chris Paul etched his name into the history books once again. Paul joined John Stockton and Jason Kidd as the third player in NBA history to reach 11,000 career assists. CP3 accomplished the feat against the Clippers, the team he played with for 6 seasons, and is the franchise's all-time assist leader. Last night, Paul also became the first player in league history to reach 11,000 assists and score more than 20,000 points. Tomorrow night, the Suns host the reigning NBA champion, Golden State Warriors. ASU men's and women's basketball seasons tip off in a couple of weeks. On the men's side, DJ Horn and Marcus Bagley were named preseason all-conference second team. And on the women's side, Jaden Simmons and Treasure Hunt were honorable mentions. Both teams held their Moonlit Madness event at Sun Angel Stadium Friday night. With fans on hand, the teams participated in various games, including a dunk contest and a three-point shootout. The chemistry was contagious between the players as they gear up for the seasons to get underway.
I think we're going to have a really good season this year, so, stringing a lot of practices along, just building our confidence and our team together.
Yeah, we just going to compete. Like, that's the number one. When shots are not falling, which we do have a lot of scores, but when that's not going our way, we can bank on our energy
On Saturday, ASU football blew an 8-point halftime lead at Stanford and lost to the Cardinal 15-14, dropping the Sun Devils' record to 2-5 on the season. In the game's final seconds, QB Emory Jones couldn't connect with receiver Elijah Badger on a deep ball. Badger made a spectacular grab, but his foot was out of bounds. Now, many ASU fans are calling for backup Trenton Bourgate to replace Jones as the starter, who led the Sun Devils to an upset win over Washington 2 weeks ago. ASU head coach Sean Aguano addressed the situation earlier today.
Going forward, and you'll see it out there too, it's an open competition, a true open competition for both of those guys. And again, I'm still, will say this, is I'm going to pick the best guy that will get us that win.
ASU will face Colorado in Boulder on Saturday. Kickoff is set for 4:30. Cricket is one of the most popular sports in the world. It's similar to baseball, but doesn't have a large following in the U.S. Cronkite News reporter Liam Archer was in Buckeye to uncover one group's plans to grow the game in the Valley of the Sun.
The Manga Group, a Glendale-based development company, has generated renderings for a new $50 million cricket stadium in Buckeye. Owner Tony Mangett hopes that by building a stadium certified by the International Cricket Council, or ICC, global competitions will make their way to the United States.
Cricket is growing sports in the U.S. right now, but they've been proven to most money-making machine in any other country, and like Asia and then UK and then Australia and those countries. They make more money than football over there.
The growth that Manga is referring to is evident here in Arizona. According to Hassan Rafi, chairman of the Arizona Cricket Association, the local interest has gone up recently.
I have literally people reaching out to us on our website. Hey, where you guys are playing in the Valley? We want to come out and see. The interest of the sports has dramatically going up.
The Arizona Cricket Association and cricket players across the valley use multi-purpose fields like this one here in Chandler, but with an ICC certified field like the one being proposed in Buckeye, players will have access to the standard and quality of field that athletes across the globe are used to having.
In a cricket, just for an example, outfield needs to be carpet size, like half an inch, all cover. It's like a putting area for a golf. These all-purpose field, then you're never going to get a field like that. We don't get the exact playing conditions that any international player would get.
With the 20,000-seat stadium on the way, members of the Arizona Cricket Association are optimistic that it can host the biggest events in the sport.
It really puts Arizona on the world map. Cricket is the second largest sport in the world right now. There will be at least 2 billion people watching that game. That itself is great advertisement for the sport and the local cricketing network and community.
The proposal is still going through the application process. If approved, the stadium would be the largest cricket venue in the United States. The project would also include a soccer field, 30 pickleball courts, and a training facility. In Phoenix, Liam Archer, Cronkite News.
Manget's hope is that by March of 2023, the stadium project will officially be underway. One more note to pass along, former Perry High School quarterback Brock Purdy made his NFL debut with the San Francisco 49ers yesterday. That's it for today's Cronkite Sports Report. Back to you, Sydney.
Coming up on Cronkite News, do you have an adorable dog that you want to share with the world? One website is looking for a spokes dog, and yours could be it.
It's prime time on your time. Watch Prime Afternoons every weekday on Arizona PBS. Did you miss a show in the evening? Then catch up on Prime Afternoons, your favorite dramas.
No more bloody heroics.
Antiques Roadshow.
Really?
nature, and Nova.
It's time to reintroduce some wonder into this miracle of nature.
All of the best from PBS on Prime Afternoons. Weekdays starting at 1:30, only on Arizona PBS. When you support Arizona PBS, you plant a seed. Seeds that provide educational outreach in our community. Seeds that put our digital resources to work. Seeds that foster the trusted news coverage you expect from PBS. And seeds that continue the amazing PBS programs you love. But our garden can't keep growing without your support. Visit our website to see all the ways you can help our garden grow. Plant a seed with Arizona PBS today.
We all think we have the cutest dog in the world, but now you could make some money off your adorable pup. You or your dog could make up to $10,000 a year. Yappy.com is a website for pet gifts, and they're hiring a chief fluff officer. They're looking for a cute pup to take pictures while trying out some of the gifts from the website. There are thousands of applicants already, and the deadline to apply is November 18th. You can find full application information on Yappy.com to launch your dog's career.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.